We have covered zombies time and time again, but there is also an existential threat that often also comes up in these why you wouldn't survive scenarios, an alien invasion. While they usually involve harnessing our biomass to create super beings like in Halo, Dead Space, or Mass Effect, or wiping us out to make way for a new world for them to inhabit it, it usually doesn't end well for us. This time, we are seeing one from an unlikely place, the Sonic the Hedgehog universe. And on the team dark side of the egg-shaped moon, the origin of the coolest character basically dooms humanity. With the end of the Year of Shadow, Sonic Shadow Generations, and Sonic the Movie 3, I figured it's now or never. Let's make this why you wouldn't survive scenario I have put in polls since 2019 finally come to reality, and let the edge-loving teenager in me discuss something he's loved since 2005. Today, we are discussing why you wouldn't survive Shadow the Hedgehog's Black Arms invasion. And don't argue with the research, I have the resident Shadow the Hedgehog expert living with me. I mean, you can ask my girlfriend yourself.
Get out of my office!
God, it got me in the head, dang, okay. Over 2,000 years ago, an extraterrestrial near-demonic entity had taken refuge within a hurtling asteroid dubbed the Black Comet. This being referred to as Black Doom, he is an immortal creature formed in black tar-like matter. Over an untold amount of time, this endlessly regenerating dark matter of his was able to be separated and shaped into new life forms known as the Black Arms. A legion of deadly and violent alien forms at the beck and call of their master, Black Doom, harnessing their strength for combat scenarios and constructing flying temples to be sent to planets as power sources of incredibly powerful weapons. Over the course of the last 2 millennia, the Black Comet would hurtle by the Earth, bearing witness to a world that seemed to be full of color and life. Black Doom grew in immediate interest upon our blue marble. Black Doom tore from his own flesh a seeing eye known as Doom's Eye to be sent as reconnaissance to observe the world to see what its population was like. Observing their reckless violence, insatiable pettiness, and unending greed, Black Doom gained a complete disdain for the humans across the world. Every 50 years, the meteor would simply zip right on by our planet, unable to interact with it in any way, simply because Black Doom could do nothing to control the course of the rock he called home, all except occasionally sending flying temples discreetly down onto the planet's surface periodically through each cycle for the hopes of a future invasion. It wasn't until 50 years ago, upon the creation of the space colony Ark, that Black Doom was able to make contact with the human race. Dr. Gerald Robotnik met face to face with this entity and negotiated a plea bargain on behalf of the human race. The two sat down about the ultimate goals for the future. The Doctor wanted to protect the planet by creating the ultimate life form. Black Doom, after discovering the power of the 7 Chaos Emeralds, wanted to use them to teleport the Black Comet to Earth's surface to invade the planet. Coming to a mutual agreement, Dr. Robotnik procured the blood of this alien master to bioengineer the ultimate life form. Black Doom promised to not attack the Earth for another 50 years, with the promise that the life form the professor would create would aid him in obtaining the Chaos Emeralds and ultimately conquering Earth. In that time, Dr. Robotnik succeeded in his ambition to bring forth Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form, as a hybrid of Earth and Black Arms races. Although government organizations on Earth feared the destructive potential of these plans and executed everyone involved in the Ultimate Lifeform project, including Gerald Robotnik. Following the events of Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow the Hedgehog had fought together with the heroes, had circumvented the use of an ultimate weapon called the Eclipse Cannon, and in the process survived a plummet from orbit to be saved and then cloned endlessly by Dr. Eggman. It was not until the events of his own game that his past would catch up to the fast-moving mammal on rocket shoes, or air shoes. Later down the road, all on his lonesome, pondering his own purpose in the world, Shadow witnesses a massive portal of brutal storms rip open the sky to unleash a horde of hellish beasts. The 50-year cycle of the Black Comet had come to pass, and Black Doom was here to make good on that promise made by Dr. Robotnik. He was sending the armies he had been creating for 2,000 years down to our world to harvest the human population and find Shadow. The game uses a choice-based system to allow Shadow to decide the fate of the world, either choosing to side with Sonic and save the planet, or to take control of the emeralds for himself and rule the planet all his own, or work with Black Doom to both enslave, consume, and then destroy the human race. For the sake of this video, we are going to be going with the darkest outcome and going black, because once you go black, you don't go back. Shadow had lost everything, and now he was going to bring that pain upon the world. So let's step aside from the lore for now and see where this would all place us if this invasion suddenly hit today. What if Black Doom, the Black Arms, the Emeralds, and Shadow himself were unified in the effort of our extermination? Each of these creatures will exist in our present world with the illest intentions for the Day of Reckoning. Upon the return of the Black Comet, the sudden dissension of all Black Arms aliens will rain down upon all major cities across the world to enact their religious summit of the Prosperity Ritual. Legions of these tar-like beasts looking to slaughter humans left and right. Any humans fighting back against their onslaught will be met with greater ferocity. A bulk of these aliens will be dubbed the Black Warriors, capable of withstanding decent amounts of damage, being airdropped from any height, and forming all types of weapons to exterminate foes. Their greatest strength comes from their numbers and coordination, all basically a hive mind serving Black Doom to systematically take out all defense and offense. Those of them that apparently hit the gym and got roided out will have become Black Oaks, hulking masses capable of lifting large objects and plowing through opposition, all while taking increased trauma in the process. Their strength can be overextended, however, as they easily tire out, but their stamina recovers also quickly to continue their attacks. Some of their oaks can mutate further into hammer oaks, becoming more durable while manifesting destructive giant hammers capable of annihilating anything it strikes. To take down aerial combatants and to reach victims in high places, winged beasts called Black Hawks will be about to bring you down, usually found in swarms like murders of crows to flood victims with their sheer numbers. They can pick up prey to great heights to allow them to fall to their deaths. More so, their lethality lies in the pure laser energy they can shoot from their tails to incinerate people and destroy vehicles. They do start life off as black wings that are too small and fragile to be dangerous, but due to their hyper growth rate can easily reach adulthood and the Black Hawk level of life fairly quickly. Blackhawks that protect high priority areas for their race will become Black Volts, adorned with gold-plated armor to be more resistant to damage and send out homing missiles from something called Big Worm Shooter. An unlimited supply of fastly regenerating avians destroying all drones, jets, and any other flying weaponry we have will make things a lot more difficult. But the land will not be safe either. Beneath the surface will a litany of dangers be burrowing underneath. Varieties of something called the Death Worm will constantly be on patrols, digging across wide-scale areas trying to find and breach any secure compounds. One would assume these void maggots would detect their prey using ground vibrations similar to the graboids from Tremors. This is not the case. They instead can sense the vitals of non-dark organisms from long distances. They will ambush prey by erupting from below to eat them, that or launch missiles from their mouths to destroy whatever they come across. Their flesh being hardened by the pressures of underground burrowing, they can withstand pretty much all conventional ammunition without taking any damage. meaning they can invade anywhere attached to the ground without any resistance to wipe out everything nearby, all while working as surveyors to weed out anything that may be hiding long term. While adversaries can be taken out of the sky and from under the earth, the Black Arms still employ a heavy offensive. If there is something formidable enough to need it, the Black Arms will deploy the Black Bulls, a bloated, maggot-like tank that can spew extremely hot flames at targets to incinerate and melt anything before it. Its hide being some of the toughest around to resist most damage, it can plow through structures and hordes of people like they were nothing. While these forces seek the penultimate subjugation and destruction of our population, they will also seek to convert the planet itself to meet their violent needs, most notably converting local flora into something called killer plants, hostile vegetation that will whip at foes and spit fire at any native organic life on Earth that draws near them. Their genetic makeup allows them to regenerate and shrug off any form of damage they take merely by shrinking themselves, meaning once they have been formed from plant life, they cannot be destroyed once established, unless Black Doom, the creator, is killed. These mutative greenery will most likely be widely produced to slowly diminish global plant life in order to reduce oxygen levels to an unsustainable degree and destroy our food chains and supplies, allowing the Black Arms to easily wipe out any lingering humans in the long run. The production and reproduction to create new Black Arms units is kind of vague. While Black Doom can create any of these mutants from his form over time, it is implied that biomass can aid their creation and growth. For people that are either incapacitated and not killed or are captured, the Black Arms will see to using them for both enslavement and then eventual nourishment for their offspring, meaning you will be working the mines for them, and once your body has given up, you are just basically going to become food. All Black Arms begin their life as these little larval blobs known as death leeches sprouted from the flesh of Black Doom himself. These half-life barnacle lookalikes most likely devour the biomass of living things to expedite their growth. It just couldn't be shown in a rated T for teen game where a lot of kids were going to be playing, meaning the more these aliens kill or capture, the quicker they can regenerate new Black Arms infantry of any shape or form, much like Halo's Flood, Mass Effect's Reapers, and Dead Space's Necromorphs. Over time, they can evolve to create newer forms of soldiers to fit certain scenarios. Upon their spatial restoration in Sonic Shadow Generations, new variants did appear. The Black Flash being a monster with elongated claws that can dash at high speeds while also producing multiple holograms of itself, in an attempt to disorient victims not knowing which is the real one before it slashes them apart. The Black Wall is a beefy creature that can project an impenetrable force field in front of them to block all incoming attacks, defending its allies from more dangerous human retaliation. Similar to the Black Wings, Black Salvos will mutate from them to be able to shoot more multiple energy beams at any target going at any speed. But these are just primarily what makes up the army and are not the pinnacle of their destructive capabilities. There is also the ringleader in our Day of Reckoning, Black Doom himself, basically Gandalf the Black. With his army ever growing and the population being blindsided from the start, some intelligence agencies will catch wind of him being the catalytic hive mind intelligence behind these invaders. Trying to discern his whereabouts is going to be difficult. Most likely, Black Doom will simply lie in the shadows, pun intended, waiting for, well, Shadow to retrieve the Chaos Emerald across the world to enact his final plan. Never being discovered, we will never find this mofo, and if we get close to finding him, the recon drone of his Doom's Eye will alert him and cause him to shift locations in the blink of an eye. But if he is cornered or a full frontal assault is launched, what kind of powers and abilities does this demigod of the dark have in store? Black Doom's powers are veritably space magic. It's the best way to put it. He hovers and wards over the masses watching over them. His endlessly regenerating dark matter mass allows him to be basically immortal unless eradicated by an extremely focused blast of energy akin to the Eclipse cannon from the Space Colony arc that was capable of wiping an entire city off the map in the blink of an eye. His manipulation of dark matter allows him to warp the very world around him, phasing through any surface in front of him and teleporting anywhere he can imagine on the planet, even within the depths of electronic programming to invade cyber security protocols. He can conjure up copies of himself to draw fire away from his true form, while also warping actuality nearby to create vast illusions to distract and nullify people that he deems a giant enough threat, wearing down the mentals of those that survive. Being able to project his voice across the world through your mind to be heard no matter what, and even manipulating the dreams of all adversaries to cause them to lose sleep and become more erratic. In direct fights, Black Doom is a beast, being able to throw down literal meteors from space to the Earth to annihilate anything before him, not even needing to be present for this specific attack and simply having his Doom's eye just pinpoint a location for this orbital strike. He can manifest and shoot out concentrated bursts of energy that can cut through any surface with deadly precision. Like his offspring Shadow, he will also have mastered the ability of chaos control, allowing him to stop time for brief periods to sway the tides of battle forever in his favor. If somehow backed into a corner, Black Doom will resort to pulling a Frieza and revealing his actual true form, known as Devil Doom. Becoming a hellish, towering figure with gigantic wings, we can watch him take flight to the skies as a demonic god. His flesh hardened enough to be resistant to even nuclear blasts, he will use chaos control to an even more masterful degree, all while spewing hot fire from his gaping maw, and using telekinesis to uproot entire buildings and using them both as projectiles and shields to both crush and block anything that dares oppose him. His ability to manifest new beings from his mass is exacerbated in this state, creating something called black cells, serving as combat drones firing high-impact lasers to eradicate anything in the air or on the ground. Not only that, but for any weapons and ballistics that do get past the literal buildings he is using as shields, these cells will protect the president and take any damage that comes his way. Not that his impenetrable flesh would even be harmed in the first place. The only weakness he has being his actual eye, that is extremely vulnerable to damage, but with his time manipulation, relentless defenses that can be offensive at any moment, and blazing fast speed while in the air, this weakness will not be easy to take advantage of, especially with the entire Black Arms army still all around. Now let's say the human race is somehow able to pull an Independence Day and successfully launch an extremely powerful nuke directly into his eye and destroy him along with the Black Arms army. If even a single infant Death Leech is left behind in this aftermath, Black Doom can simply regenerate and manifest himself back into full form over a long period of time, even being capable of being stronger in the form of Neo Devil Doom. So unless every single trace of the Black Arms is weeded out and wiped out, Black Doom can always come back bigger, better, and stronger, creating even more Black Arms infantry. The only way of defeating the Black Arms invasion outright is, of course, the probably only way of saving our asses that turned full-on dark mode, Shadow the Hedgehog himself. The edgy rodent made as an experiment into immortality that was ahead of his time for having two dads, one black and one white, Shadow's ultimate goal was to take care of Dr. Gerald Robotnik's granddaughter, Maria, to cure her of an undisclosed disease while being her companion stuck aboard the orbiting space colony Ark, dreaming of one day going to Earth together and finding a purpose. But when the World Government Organization GUN deemed Shadow as a threat, Maria was subsequently subsequently killed with Shadow and Robotnik captured. Having gone mad, the good doctor seeked revenge and altered Shadow's memories to gear him towards vengeance. Shadow being torn in his intent with the Earth and its residents until Black Doom returns to manipulate Shadow and to make good on the deal he made with Robotnik 5 decades ago. Having DNA made up of the hive mind Black Arms, Shadow's journey for purpose and revenge will ultimately leave this ultimate life form to be the ultimate pawn for Black Doom. Ultimately, in the events of Sonic Shadow Generations, Black Doom was shown to remotely mutate Shadow's body to manifest the Black Arm strands within him to transform, shooting chaos spears, growing wings, turning into tentacled beasts to traverse dark tar plains, ride manta rays, and more, with each mutation pushing him over the edge. These new powers only added to his ferocity. Having the ability to reach the speed of light, he can easily avoid and cause damage to anything in the blink of an eye, unable to be caught as he unleashes Dragon Ball Z levels of flurried fists and kicks to annihilate tough opponents. His durability is akin to his own alien father, being immortal in just about every sense of the word, being able to survive plummeting through Earth's orbit, explosions that can destroy giant arcs in space, and more. He was the experiment to create immortal life, and was made with the ultimate cure in mind for human disease. So, any kind of disease or biological weapon used against him will not affect the Black Blur. His most iconic and dangerous power is the use of Chaos Control, most notably without the use of a single Chaos Emerald, stopping time like Jotaro Kujo to destroy foes without them ever realizing it and to tip the scales of battle in his favor. Having spent time on Earth and against human militaries, Shadow has learned how to use any weapon or vehicle he can get his hands on. While it is redundant to be in a motorcycle since he is...
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
I guess it's to conserve his energy, I suppose, but mainly to just look like a badass while killing all humans. Bender Rodriguez approved. He will use his speed and prowess to acquire every Chaos Emerald for the Black Arms, no matter how hard they may be to find.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
Shadow possessing even one Chaos Emerald allows him to unleash a highly concentrated blast of energy that wipes out all organic creatures nearby within a 20-meter radius known as Chaos Blast. With more of the emeralds, this potential can widen. With all 7 in his clutches, he can transform into his Super Shadow state, becoming invincible to all forms of damage with his use of Chaos Control and Chaos Blast being well beyond their former limits, alongside all the Venom level mutations he has. Basically a Super Saiyan, because genuinely that's what the inspiration comes from. Once the emeralds have been acquired, Shadow will, under the influence of Black Doom, hand them all over, in turn allowing him and his father to teleport the entire Black Comet to the Earth's surface so that Black Doom can never be contested or destroyed. The Earth being the new source of the Black Arms, their influence will grow indefinitely without any stopping. Since Black Doom himself could regrow his entire form from a simple leech, having the comet itself sink and then eventually merge with our planet will mean the endless production of the Black Arms will become a reality, with no true way of destroying Black Doom. Anyone that tries to stop the use of the emeralds will simply be disintegrated in an instant. If we end up trying to use the emeralds ourselves as a weapon or as a source of energy, we would simply not be able to construct anything that can handle the sheer amount of power they produce, while at the same time revealing our location to Shadow and Black Doom to make their hunt for the emeralds that much easier. We would have to destroy the Black Comet during this worldwide invasion to stand a chance. But trying to pull something like the movie Armageddon, where we send a nuclear device onto a meteor, an orbiting rock, hurtling through space, all while humanity is being overrun and destroyed periodically, probably would not happen. Hell, in the 2005 game, it required a literal space laser from a highly advanced space arc and the power of the Chaos Emeralds to position it in place just to destroy the meteor and the Black Arms completely. As I said at the start, it requires Shadow to break the mental influence of Black Doom for us to even survive the invasion. But since the human race hasn't been doing so good in terms of certain things lately, we will just say Shadow will join the dark side and watch as his Black Arms brothers kill, enslave, and consume our flesh to make a never-ending army of darkness. An army that can detect where we are at all times, converting all plant life on Earth rapidly, having soldiers by the thousands and then eventually millions produced in the land, on the land, and in the air, destroying everything while manipulating our minds telepathically on a wide scale, working us to exhaustion until we keel over and our bodies are consumed by darkness, never escaping the influence of Black Doom and his pawn Shadow. But on the other hand, if Shadow does end up joining us, he ends up saying some fucked up stuff like this.
Disgusting black creatures, get out of my sight.
So, who's the real bad guy here? That wraps up this scenario. With it being 2025 now and me trying to push the channel in different directions, outros are going to be a bit shorter, viewer retention and all, trying to work with that algorithm. So tell me what's wrong, right, or omitted in the comments. Donate to my Patreon or become a YouTube channel member to be featured on this awesome list here. It only costs $1 to do so. Use my code WOW at gamersubs.com to get 10% off your order of waifu cups, drinks, and more. And then if you do it, I'll get my own flavor and maybe a witch waifu cup if we sell enough. Thank you to Chago, aka QuickFlix, for editing this together. And until next time, I'm Zackass, aka Wow Such Gaming. Never forget to stay happy, stay healthy, stay the coolest, and stay wild.